Today, I want to talk about the proposed rule changes for Gaelic football. We've seen a couple of changes take place in the last 10 years. The most notable would be the advanced mark. This was introduced to kind of counteract the very defensive way teams were playing. It would kind of encourage the goalkeeper to kick the ball long instead of always doing short kickouts. It would also make outfield players kick the ball more. And as we know, if you kick the ball more than 20 yards or something and you catch it cleanly, you get a mark. It's fair to say that these rules did not work at all. The game is still incredibly boring and very, very slow. I don't think I've been able to watch a full football game for at least a few years now, man. They've just been so incredibly boring to watch. Teams do not want to take risks. A player knows if they mess up a kick pass that there is a bollocking coming their way from teammates, from spectators, and from the manager. This constantly plays on the mind and it just makes people want to play it way more safe. Kicking the ball from side to side instead of going direct. It's been a while since I played football, but this is exactly how I felt, man. I just never wanted to kick it forward. I was too nervous. I just thought the nice easy hand pass going backwards was better than, you know, trying a Hail Mary kick pass going forward. No one wants to be that guy that messes up a kick pass and ends up over the line, making yourself look like an absolute ass. It can also just be that managers just rather play it safe as well. Side to side football until a gap opens up eventually after about 5 minutes. In my opinion, it's still very exciting to actually play the game, but as a spectator, it's just not a fun time, man. How do they propose to fix these issues? Starting off with the 1v1 throw-in. Instead of your classic 2v2 throw-in, now there's only going to be one from each team and the other players are going to be on the sidelines. I don't fully see the purpose of this. The only reason I can possibly make up is that they want people to field the ball more, the competitive side of trying to catch the ball, instead of when you have two people there, there's a bit of a safety net, so one person can go up and kind of bat the ball down and hopefully the other player will break onto it. Instead of batting it down to someone else, you now yourself have to take a lot of responsibility and try and catch it. The Advanced Mark 2.0. That sounds like a fucking Call of Duty Zombies Easter egg, man. The ball must be kicked from outside the 45-meter line in open play and caught cleanly inside the 20-meter line. Once again, trying to encourage players to freaking kick the ball. I'm not entirely sure what the difference is between the 2.0 mark and the 1.0. When a player catches the ball cleanly on or inside a 45-meter line from a kick in play, delivered by an attacking player on or beyond the opposing team's 45-meter line, that travels at least 20 meters and without touching the ground. I must be missing something here because I can't really see the full difference in that. I think they're kind of like the same thing. The rules regarding the goalkeeper are very interesting. Goalkeepers can now only receive a pass on 2 occasions. They can receive a pass from a player while inside their own box, or they can receive it inside the opposition half. In very simple terms, they're trying to stop the back pass. I think this is a very prevalent problem in the game today. I think this is a pretty good idea. You're essentially taking one player out of the game. That extra blanket of safety that a player has in their heads, knowing that they can always give it back to the keeper, is now gone. So now you have to move forward. From reading these rules, I think this is the biggest thing they're trying to get out of, is that they're trying to get players to go forward. There's too much side to side and going backwards nowadays, and that's kind of why the game's gone to the dogs at the moment. On the other side of the scale, you can also use the keeper for attacking purposes. We saw it a tiny bit on the provisional games on RTE. Of course, it's a bit risky, but like that's what we want to see, man. A bit of risk taking. Too many people are just playing it safe, and therefore it's boring. The solo and goal now lets players continue play when they're fouled. It's a lot like what the AFL do. Instead of the game completely slowing down when someone is fouled, you can be fouled and then you can just get on with it and keep moving. One thing is very clear. Speed is the name of the game, and that's what they want for Gaelic football. As we know, fouling is a brilliant way of slowing down the play, especially when a team needs to get a score on the board. You can just drag someone down and that completely ruins the flow of the game, but not anymore. I'm a big fan of this one. I think this could change a lot of things. It kind of favors the losing team just a small bit more. The blanket defense have haunted teams ever since Donegal mastered it a few years ago, but the 3v3 structure demolishes this playstyle. Essentially, both sets of teams need to have at least 3 players on each half. Once again, we're kind of seeing the defensive style of play take an absolute beatdown. They're really trying to get rid of it and have more high scoring games. To win matches now, you're really going to have a high scoring game. Speaking of which, kickouts now have to go beyond the 40-meter line. No more short kickouts, and you can't give it back to the keepers. Fielding is a massive part of Gaelic football, so I think this is a pretty good idea. Getting rid of the short kickouts and kind of working your way up is no longer going to be a viable option now. Last but not least is my favorite change, the scoring system. They essentially want to add a 40-meter arc where if you score outside of the arc, you're now given 2 points. That is absolutely fantastic, man. This is exactly what the game needs. It changes a couple of things. Number one, players will be encouraged to shoot more and from ridiculous angles. That is exactly what Gaelic football is. Taking a risk, shooting from stupid angles. But I'll tell you what, it's only stupid if you miss, alright? This opens the door for a lot of last minute winners. Being 5, 6, 7 points ahead with 10 minutes to go is no longer a guaranteed win. And the second change it will bring is that defenders are going to have to push up the line a bit more instead of sitting back and kind of protecting the goal line or the box. Because let's be honest, a 2-point kick could be a lot more costly than an actual goal. 2 of those back to back and all of a sudden you're 4 points down. Do you know what I mean? They also want goals to be 4 points now. I completely disagree with this. I think the goals need to stick with 3 points because let's be honest, we could see some absolute beatdowns if they let this go through. If a team is capable of scoring a lot of goals and a lot of 2-point scores, it just wouldn't be fun to watch at all. We want to see fast, high scoring, competitive games of Gaelic football, not just some silly ass whoopings here and there. So what are my thoughts? I think these changes are needed, man. The game has gotten so boring over the past few years. Nowadays it rewards slow, defensive, safe football instead of very high-paced state of play. I can take or leave the mark, the kick out and the 1v1 throw-in, but the 40-meter arc, that just fits so perfectly well. I have absolutely no idea why this wasn't thought of sooner. One thing I want to address is the very negative attitude towards these changes. Most of them are just the people who are scared of change. Oh, they're ruining our traditional sport. We can't let them do this, you know, it's ruining the game. Man, the current state of the sport is absolutely rubbish to watch, man. As I've said, it's the best game in the world to play, along with hurling, but it hurts the eyes of the spectators. Look, I get it. Back in the day, it was a great game to play. I remember watching an old football video. I think it may have been Cork versus Dublin. And this guy is running with the ball. And the guy tackling him basically just eye gouges him straight away. Just kind of goes like that into his face. And he just gets on with it like nothing happened. That must have been incredible to watch. But times have changed, man. No one does that kind of crack anymore, and you'd never get away with it now. I doubt these changes will be making club championships anytime soon. I mean, referees can barely monitor games by themselves as it is. Imagine trying to figure out if a player shot from outside the 40-meter arc or inside the 40-meter arc and they score it, and you know they would have won the championship final or whatever, but like you don't actually know if they shot within the 40-meter line or not, you know? Or if someone has caught a ball cleanly after it traveled 20 meters and it was caught within the 20-meter line and cleanly, or you know, whatever that freaking advanced Mark II thing is. Now, I could be completely wrong. Players who played in the provisional games might come out tomorrow and be like, no, the rules were terrible, it was terrible to play, and you know, let's not go through with it. Or being more realistic, the GAA might take one look at them and say, absolutely not. Let me know what your thoughts are. What rule changes are you most looking forward to? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Have a good day. Bye.